whoa, 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 whoa. Just let her go.
Sorry.
Stop. Oh, just wait for the car. Hiya guys, and welcome back to Clearview Driving. My name is Ammon. I'm here with Abiraah. We are doing a mock driving test. Now your test is in a month's time.
Yeah.
How many hours of driving lessons would you say you've done?
I've done about 30-ish hours with my instructor.
From a complete beginner?
Yeah.
Have you had any practice outside of that as well?
No, actually, haven't. No.
Okay. All right, now today we're in Greenford and we're going to be doing a Greenford driving test route. Are you familiar with what happens on a mock test?
Most of it, yes.
Do you want me to tell you how today's going to
please.
go? Okay, so, all right, so throughout the drive, I want you to follow the road ahead. Whenever I need you to turn, I'm going to tell you in plenty of time. If I don't say anything, keep going straight. If you're not sure where you're going, you can just ask, but it will just be straight. We're going to do one maneuver and we may also carry out the emergency stop. And then I'm also going to get you to carry out one of the show me questions whilst you're driving, which we've been through already.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, the whole purpose of this is just to demonstrate that you can drive safely. The drive's going to last about 35 minutes or so, 38, yeah? And then we're going to get back to here and you get your result.
Sure.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. If you guys are new to watching these videos, don't forget to like this video if you enjoy this and subscribe if you're new, select the bell icon and let me know what you thought of today's video. Because I haven't done mock tests in a while, but getting back into it. And today marks 4 years of me doing YouTube, by the way, and Abiraah was really sweet and bought me a box of Ferrero Rocher. How do you know I like them? Everybody does.
Everyone likes them.
They're the best. They're literally my favourite as well. Okay, so we're going to get started. That doesn't get you any plus points, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Just so we get that square.
No bias.
Yeah, so when you're ready, we're going to start the engine. We're going to get down to the end of this road and turn right.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. All right, good luck. Whenever you're ready, let's move on. Hiya guys, and welcome back to another mock test. It has been a minute now. This is Abiraah's first mock test. She has never done a mock test before and her test is coming up very, very soon. When you first start your test, you are bound to be nervous, so make sure you take your time, observe carefully. As we're waiting at this T-junction, the new road was fairly busy, so we had to keep looking right and left. As we're waiting, you'll notice that Abiraah has got her clutch lifted and she's holding the brake. Now, in terms of a driving test, the examiner's not going to say anything about this, but it's not a good habit for you as a new driver because you are wearing away the clutch whilst you're waiting at a T-junction as you're restricting the car from moving with the brake. At the end of this road, turn left, please. There was a vehicle approaching from the right, but they were turning left and Abiraah waits until they start slowing down to make the turn before she moves out. I forgot to ask you the tell me question.
Sorry?
I forgot the tell me question. I just remembered. At the traffic lights, I'd like you to turn right, please.
Yeah.
Take the next road on your left, please. As we're approaching this left turn, there were some pedestrians already crossing at this junction. You want to make sure to slow right down before. Abiraah does steer a bit late. You want to make sure you don't end up on the wrong side of the road. If you could pull over and park up on the left anywhere safe. thank you. And drive off whenever you're ready. And if you could pull in and park up on the left somewhere safe again. In your driving test, when your examiner asks you to pull over and park somewhere safe, they've already identified a space. Abiraah does pull into this space on the left, but then she rolls too far forward, which is actually now blocking the driveway, which means nobody can go in and out of this driveway. She should have pulled up much earlier or continued to another space in the distance. All right, thank you. Drive off whenever you're ready. Abiraah's got a good position in the centre of the road when there are parked vehicles on both sides. Now, after this van, she should have moved back over towards the left-hand side of the road as the road is now bending towards the right. She continues driving in the middle into a bend so she gets marked down for this. At the end, turn left, please. Positioning back on the left would make sure that you have a better view of the road ahead and also you're not in the way of any oncoming vehicles. Just ahead of us, we've got a width restriction, and this particular one is quite challenging as you have to move over towards the left and it narrows quite a bit. So what you want to do is position nice and early, but once you're in that position, try and straighten up the car. Abiraah does get marked down for her control on steering as her back tyre nudges as we're going through. She simply needed to straighten the wheel and then look ahead to continue through. At the roundabout, I'd like you to turn right. It's the third exit.
Yeah.
Approaching this roundabout, Abiraah starts to slow down a little and switches back into first gear when we're not really slow enough. You want to make sure you focus on controlling the speed and then selecting the gear accordingly. If you do it this way, your car might actually be too fast for the gear where the engine brake kicks in quite suddenly when you bring the clutch up. At this roundabout, we're going straight ahead, and on approach there's only really one lane, but there is space enough for two cars. Abiraah is positioned in the centre, which is fine as it's only one lane, but as we get closer to the roundabout and she starts looking towards the right, she's keeping the wheel straight, and we end up drifting closer to the roundabout. You want to be really careful with this. Make sure you glance towards the right and then also look the direction that you're meant to be going. We're going to be continuing towards Rainer's Lane from here.
Okay.
Raina's lane, yeah?
Yep.
We're currently on a 30 miles per hour zone, and the road is really nice and open where you can easily get to 30. Abiraah is driving above 20, but she's only driving up to about 25 miles per hour. So she does get marked down for progress along this road, but my main concern was the fact that she kept the car in second gear the whole time. This would go down as eco-safe driving as you're not being efficient with the gears in your car. This doesn't affect the result of your test, but you want to make sure you're always being fuel efficient as it takes double the fuel to be driving at this speed in second gear than if you were in third. At the traffic lights, I'd like you to turn right, please. Approaching this traffic light right turn, I can see that Abiraah is not used to controlling the speed of the car, rather she just changes gears. So we're currently driving at about 17 miles per hour, but she's put the car back into first gear. This results in the car engine braking as she brought the clutch up, and this is quite dangerous as the people behind do not realise that you're about to slow down like this. And take the next road on your right, please. Just here. Just wait for the car. You can go now. And if you could pull in and park up on the right-hand side of the road, please. Don't worry about the driveways, okay? Just keep driving up a little bit further if you can. That's fine there.
Oh, those gears.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is I would like you to now... Alright, so I'd like you to now reverse back for about 2 car lengths, keeping a reasonable distance from the pavement.
Okay.
Okay. Reverse is on the left,
Oh,
but you have to lift to get it there.
okay.
We could not have made this up, so I've told Abiraah to reverse back for 2 car lengths. She's looking around, and in the road behind us, you've got these 2 pedestrians with the dog, and the dog has done his business in the road, and the little boy is waiting to pick up the dog's business, and Abiraah was questioning whether she should continue reversing. She reversed initially, and she's looking all around and controlling the wheel. As we're reversing back, the boy does initially step away from the edge of the pavement, but as we continued reversing, he's now about to step out into the road, and I did tell her to stop at this point. To make sure that it is safe to continue reversing, it's okay if you have to wait. Just stop there for a second, just watch the kid. As Abiraah continued reversing, we got further and further away from the pavement. By the end, we were too far out on the road, so she gets marked down for her control with this reverse.
Wait, you said a reasonably close distance from the curb, right?
That's
that
fine.
earlier.
That's fine there, don't worry. Just stop. That's fine there.
Yeah.
Drive off whenever you're ready.
This gate is very strange.
Abiraah does her observation over towards the left-hand side really well when moving off from this position. Make sure you are thoroughly checking ahead, over towards the left and over your left blind spot. And at the end of this road, turn right, please. Approaching this next roundabout, we're going straight ahead, second exit. Now here you can see 2 lanes clearly marked and we're in the left-hand lane. As we get closer to the roundabout, you can't see the centre divide, but essentially there's 2 lanes. Abiraah starts in the left-hand lane, and as we're going forward, she's looking across to the right and she's keeping the wheel straight. This is because she's not looking over towards the left where she needs to position, and she ends up straight lining the roundabout and switches into the right-hand lane where there was a van right next to us. So she gets a use of mirrors change direction fault at this point. This is a very common fault. You want to make sure you're looking right and ahead when you're approaching roundabouts. And if you don't think you can look both ways, simply stop. Approaching this next roundabout, we're going straight ahead, second exit again. Now, there's 2 houses in front of us. One is a pedestrian that was crossing the road, and the second is a cyclist that was already on the roundabout. Abiraah's not braking enough for both of these hazards. With the cyclist, this goes down as a dangerous fault for observation, as I did have to tell Abiraah to stop.
Oh, no, whoa, 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 just let her go. Sorry. Oh, no, whoa, 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 just let her go. Sorry.
Okay, continue. At the roundabout, I'd like you to turn right. It's the second exit.
Yep. Oh, went the wrong way.
It's okay. And if you could pull in and park up on the left just before the white car.
Yep.
But leave enough space to move away, okay? Just find that. Okay, Abiraah, so shortly I'm going to get you to carry out the emergency stop.
Okay.
I want you to drive normally along this road, and when it's safe, I'm going to give you this signal. Stop. I want you to stop the car as quickly and as safely as possible.
Yep.
And wait for my signal before you carry out the stop.
Okay.
So I will look thoroughly all around before giving you that signal.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, drive off whenever you're ready. Just going to move your bag down so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so just continue driving normally and wait for my signal, okay?
Yeah.
Stop. Stop. I'm going to get you to do that one more time.
Okay.
Drive off again. We've got a crossroads in front of us where we're actually on the side road. Abiraah should have stopped, looked carefully all around, and then continued through. Just continue ahead.
Yep.
Stop. Stop. Thank you. I'm not going to get you to do that again. Drive off whenever you're ready.
Okay.
And if you could just pull into that space behind the black car. All right, you can relax. You can take off your seatbelt if you like. That is the end of your mock test.
Oh no, that was.
How was your drive?
I felt slightly less confident than I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I made a lot of random silly mistakes that I shouldn't have done, particularly with turning. I think like mirror observations and like there was that dog there, that one child.
Everything was kind of happening. It was
Yeah,
just like
that was a bit
random
weird.
hazards happening.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you would not have passed on this occasion.
Yes.
There are a few reasons why. Most of them are connected. They're more or less the same pattern repeating itself. When we're driving along at like 20 miles per hour, if I said, oh, I want you to turn right or turn left, your immediate reaction straight away is to get a mirror signal, but then you go brake clutch,
Yeah.
first gear
Right.
at like 17 miles per hour.
Okay.
Do we need first gear at 17 miles per hour?
No.
Okay. And then let's say you've made the turn, like the traffic light turn that we did. You turned because the road happened to be clear. We're in the new road in first gear at like 15 to 13 miles per hour. When you brought the clutch up, what happened?
Slower.
It jolted,
It
didn't
jolted,
it?
yeah.
Okay. What's that called?
Stalling.
Engine braking.
Engine braking. Okay.
Okay, so the gear essentially slowed your car down, right?
Yeah.
Now, would the person behind you be aware that you're doing that?
No.
There's no brake lights
Yeah.
with it. So you've got a bit of a habit of going back into first gear when we don't need to.
Okay.
If you want to go to first gear, by all means, slow
Right.
down, get
Okay.
your speed accurate for first gear to be working, then gear down. Unfortunately, that fault with the white car coming towards you was a dangerous fault. And even with the cyclist,
Yeah, that cyclist that was.
yeah, she's right there. She's
Yeah.
quite scared moving outwards because
Yeah.
you're just headed towards her because your attention was on the gear
Yeah.
rather than
That's what I
the
was thinking.
speed.
I was like, oh my god, I just checked on gear, didn't notice.
You were in the left lane, there was a van on the right hand side of you, but as you entered, you kept your position straight, which meant the van had nowhere to go
To move. Okay.
besides hitting into you. He just backed off a little bit.
Okay.
Both of you needed to go in and go like that, and then the roundabout begins. You went, oh, roundabout, yeah, it's clear, okay, and then you went like that.
Okay.
So you straight lined essentially.
So, yeah.
You've switched into his lane,
Okay.
and then you went back into your lane again. But I feel like if you start to control your speed, everything's going to fall into place.
Yeah.
I did ask you to park up a few times somewhere safe.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So basically, not in front of a driveway, not on a line.
Yeah.
So like, I kept noticing that there was like a park space, and then whenever I parked in the park space, I would go straight. Like,
You've overshot.
Yeah, and then like that happened like 2 times, and then I was like, okay, I can't do anything now.
The width restriction was good. You went into it nicely. I know the left side kind of nudged a little bit, but that's bound to happen. Your initial entry into the width
Yeah.
restriction was nice, but the exit I didn't like.
Yeah.
You were too far to the right. You needed to straighten up.
Yeah.
So you went in, and then you kept it to the right. The back
Yeah.
nudged as well. Yeah. The emergency stop.
The first one, I was like, that was so slow
Yeah.
and so. I felt like it was too calm for an emergency stop.
Exactly. Now, you're not always going to get a second chance.
Yeah, I've never done an emergency stop before, so yeah.
Okay.
And then I realised when you said do it again, I was like, okay, something's wrong.
Emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the second
would've-
time was okay though.
Second time was much better.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you still would have got a serious
Yeah.
fault with both your emergency stops for your observation.
Right.
You did not look around before moving off.
Oh.
You need to do a thorough kind of look all around. Check. Had you even checked mirrors, okay, nowadays they've started doing that where you're kind of checking your mirrors, but I don't think that's enough. You need to kind of go, yeah, swoop left to right. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, if there's anything that I haven't mentioned, guys, I will put it in the video, but I feel like I've covered over all the main bits. My advice for you, practice as much as you can.
Yeah.
Get used to higher gears. Drive a bit more. Don't just drive on the routes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions?
No.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, yeah, thanks, because, like, I think although this isn't the greatest test, mock test, but I'm just glad that, you know, I've identified the mistakes and sort of just
The first mock test is always the hardest.
Yeah, because this is my first one, so.
Now going forward, you're going to know what's involved. So if you're sitting with your instructor even, you'll be more aware of these things.
Yeah.
And then you'll have less mistakes in that one, and then again the next.
Exactly. So I'm glad I can learn from my mistakes, and I know now what to do. Yeah.
Make sure you get in as many mock test kind of style drives as you can. Okay. All right, guys, that's the end of today's mock test. Hopefully you guys have learned from today's video and enjoyed it. Don't forget to press that like button if you have liked this video. Subscribe if you're new. Select the bell icon. And that's it from us today. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.